happy Thursday, happy Wednesday, happy Wednesday, happy day before school. Some of you have probably already started. Griffin goes back to school tomorrow, and we're excited. We're really excited. Um, but today we are going to make a tiered tray, and I'm using some new items from our 3D printed line to make our tiered tray. So I'm using one of the spindles and one of the finials. Okay, we also have the taller spindle as well, and we have a taller finial. We also have shorter finials. So we're going to be using these two to make our tiered tray, and I'm really excited to see how this turns out. It's going to be pretty simple. It's going to be a simple project, but I think it's going to be beautiful. I've already started working on it a little bit just because white is one of those colors. Well, it's not really a color, so it doesn't cover very well. And whenever you're painting white onto your white pieces, 3D printed pieces, it for some reason doesn't cover very well. So you do have to do several different coats. So I've already done 2 coats on here. We're going to do a 3rd coat, and then we'll move on. So I didn't want you to have to sit and watch me paint for forever. So, all right. So when you hop on, say hello. Let me know you're watching. And we're going to get started on this here in just a second. We're going to do something fun with these pieces to make them look really cool. All right. This is the thing about the 3D printed pieces. They can be whatever you want them to be. And that's what I love about it. You can make them look like wood. You can make them look like ceramic. You can make them look like concrete or like metal, all kinds of different things. They're just such a great base to do so many different things with. And so that's why we love them around here, because there's just so many possibilities. All right. Hi, Stacy. Hello. Good afternoon. Hey, Gail. Hi, Pam. Hey, Tammy. Hi, Danae. My day has been good. Hey, April. Hi, Linda. So glad to see all of you today. I hope y'all are having a great day. All right. So I'm just going to start painting. And I am painting these in warm white. So I've already done 2 coats, and they still need some more coverage to them. You probably won't be able to tell, but to me, they still need more coverage. Now, the reason why I decided to paint them, you don't necessarily have to paint them, but I think that the color is going to be a little bit better. So that's the reason why I decided to paint them. So that's totally up to you. It changes the look of it just a little bit. And so whether you paint it or you don't is totally up to you whenever you're doing something white. Typically, I do paint it. Now, y'all tell me if you're a Crafty Kid subscriber or not. Do you typically paint your white pieces? It depends on what it is. The fences, I don't usually paint the fences because they're white, and most of the time I want a white fence, and that just doesn't seem to make sense. But for something like this, I do paint them. So I don't know. It's all in a preference, I guess. Hey, Deborah. Hi, Glenda. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope y'all are having a good day. I am trying to get this really smooth, though. I don't want it to be real gloppy with paint. I want to make sure the paint is nice and smooth, because that's going to make it look better in the end. Especially for the look that we're going for. Which I'm going to explain that here in a few minutes. So I'm just doing not a ton of paint, but I just am doing it nice and smooth and thin, so I don't have very many brush strokes. Hi, Lisa. Hey, Jerry. I don't know if I said hi to y'all or not. spray paint is perfect for these 3D printed pieces. You can definitely use spray paint. In fact, in the Crafty Kit group, I recommend that to them a lot, depending on the project and what it is that we are doing. A lot of the times I'll recommend them to spray paint ahead of time because it's just so much easier and faster, especially when it's the summertime and the weather is acceptable to spray paint. Tammy, we are making a tiered tray today. So I've got a couple of Jenga blocks glued onto this one so that I don't get my fingers too dirty when trying to get towards the bottom. This is the short finial. We have a small one that comes in a pack of 4, and then we've got the short one, which is this one. We also have a large one. The crafting group is our Crafty Kit group. So our Crafty Kit subscription, we have a private group for those members, for those subscribers. Teresa, definitely check it out. Hey, Dawn, thanks for celebrating. Hi, Lynn, thanks for sprinkling. And in that Crafty Kit group, everyone they share some of their creations with us. They share their Crafty Kit creations, and it's a small group of ladies. We just get to kind of encourage each other and all of that. Okay, so I'm just trying to make sure, like I said, that I'm getting this on pretty smoothly. I don't want a bunch of excess paint. And the best way to do that is just to keep going over it and just smoothing that paint out so you don't have a bunch of excess. Thank you, Linda. Yes, Griffin is happy with his new teacher. We all are very happy and very excited for the year ahead. I think it's going to be a great year. As long as he and his friends don't get in trouble, he's got, let's see, 1, 2, 3 football, 3 football players in his class, not including him. So his football guys those are his peeps. He spends a lot of time with them. He is with them 4 times a week, right? So he's very close to all of his football fellas, and 3 of them are in his class, and so we're hoping that they behave. But all of us mothers are like, oh my goodness, like they're going to get in trouble so much this year. So hopefully they'll behave and they'll, do well. But I think they're going to have fun either way. I think it's going to be a fun year. And his teacher actually has a son who's 17 who actually plays for the high school here. So she is used to it. And she was just saying that she had just had like 3 other football fellas over at her house over the weekend. So she should be used to it. We are making a tiered tray. So we're just getting our pieces painted right now. And I've done 3 coats on these pieces. This is the last I'm going to do. I'm not going to do any more. Tammy, it's $50, and that's for the Crafty Kit. And so, you've seen me today, yesterday, I used our 3D printed pieces. This is kind of like what you would receive in a Crafty Kit, except the Crafty Kit's a larger scale and a much more complex scale. And I teach you I'll send you all the supplies that you need in a box right to your doorstep. And It also includes shipping, so the shipping is included. And we will teach you how to put it all together. So we come together once a month, and we go live and we craft the kit together, and it's a lot of fun. So it's $50 a month, comes with everything you need, and includes shipping. All right, so now that we've got them painted, okay, so we just painted them both with warm white, 3 coats. We're gonna do a wash over them now. So I'm just gonna wipe the paint off my brush here. Just use the same brush. And I'm gonna grab a something to put paint in. All right, I'm gonna take some neutral gray, and we're gonna make sort of a taupe color. And I'm gonna mix a little bit of raw umber in with it. And I just want to create sort of a taupey, kind of a grayish color. I'm going to go just a little bit more raw umber. All right, and then I'm going to mix some water in with this. And that's going to be our wash. And we're just going to wash our spindles with this, and it's just going to get into all the crevices. Now I'm not going to add very much water. I'm just going to start with a little, because it doesn't take much to thin it down. I don't want it super thin. I just want it a little thinner so that it doesn't dry easily. That looks pretty good, but I think I'm going to get it a little bit, just a little bit thinner. So I'm just being very careful not to put too much in there. Okay, I think that's good. All right, y'all, I should have brought some gloves over. Let me go grab some gloves real quick. And we're just gonna wash this on, and then we'll just take some wipes and remove the excess. So hang on just a second. Let me grab some gloves. Okay. Hi, Nancy. Been needing to bring that new box over. And someone asked me about my sweater. Yes, everyone's always curious why I'm wearing sweaters. It's cold down here. It gets cold down here. All right, so this is the color. Okay, it's kind of an odd color. I'll explain why here in just a second. Okay. I like to keep you on the edge just a little bit. Keep you questioning. I'm going to grab some wipes. All right, and we're just going to take this, and very quickly I am just going to rub this all over. And I'm putting it on heavy. Then I'm just going to take my wipe and just wipe this off. And I'm just looking for that color to get into those crevices. So you can remove as much or as little of it as you want. It's a little bit darker, I think, than I wanted. I'm going to grab another brush, and I'm going to grab some water, and I'm going to just water it down a little bit. So I'm just kind of stippling a little bit of water on here. And then I'm just going to remove again. Yes, Jerry, it is watered down. All right. Okay, so you can see how that's looking. So we're going to do the same thing. Let me add a little bit more water then to my mixture here, since I felt like that was a little too dark. So we'll water it down a little bit more so it's not as pigmented. All right. Let's get the top here. Okay. Just wipe off the excess. All right. I think I'm going to go in a little bit more here. It's not super happy with how much is in those crevices. Okay. So that's what it looks like. All right, we're going to do the same thing to this one. Hi, Stacy. Hey, Jackie. So you really want to concentrate on all the crevices. Those are the spots that you really want to get that paint in. All right, so just wipe off the excess. And you can remove as much or as little of that as you want to. You know, if you want a lot of that white showing, then you'll remove a little bit more. Hi, Christy. Good afternoon. Okay. All right. So here we go. Okay, that's how that turned out. All right, so those pieces are done. Well, sort of. Not really. Okay, so the next part, we're going to dry it. Make sure they're good and dry. And then we are going to make these look like ceramic. All right. So we want to make sure they're good and dry. And then we're going to break out the triple thick. Have you all used the triple thick yet? It is one of my new favorite products from DecoArt. And it's going to give us a ceramic look on these pieces. It's going to make them have that really super high gloss. Just want to make sure all of those crevices are dry, because otherwise when we put the triple thick on, it's going to pull that paint out, and we don't want it to pull the paint out of those crevices. We want it to stay in there. Hey, Carol. Hey, Jennifer. All right. Almost dry. Okay. All right. Now let's take our triple thick. Y'all, this stuff is amazing. So it is a super high gloss. And it's a thick gloss. Okay, so it's called Triple Thick. We have it on our website. And we're going to apply this, and we'll do 2 or 3 coats. And it's going to just make it look like this brilliant glossy shine, as if this was a ceramic piece. I don't like that brush. Let me find a different one. And that's the point where I need to wash brushes again. Oh, Teresa, I don't know why either. Were you signed in on your account? All right, so for this, there is a bit of a learning curve, I feel like. You want to have a good amount and it be thick, but you don't want it to be so thick that it's dripping. So you don't want it to be super thin, but you don't want it to be super, super thick either. So I just go in and just smooth it on. Try and get it very smooth and not having like thick parts. You want it to be even. I think that's the key, is being somewhat even with it. And it's just going to give you this really brilliant shine. That's going to look like glass. Okay, so you can see how that's looking already, just by getting a little bit on here. So it's got a thickness to it, but also a really high shine. Okay, so I'm just trying to make sure that it's smooth, and then we'll let it dry. Okay. All right. So that's what it looks like. Okay, we'll let that set, and then we'll dry it in a little bit. So I'm using Triple Thick on here. This is available on the Celebration Company website, and it's called Triple Thick. It is a brilliant shine. So it is a high gloss shine. And it's also a thick product, so it goes on a little bit thicker. And what's great about it is it just kind of hides the texture and gives you just this really smooth finish. And so the more coats you put on, the better it gets, of course. But it looks really great and shiny even after one coat. Oh, that's interesting, Teresa. Do you not ever order off of Amazon? I guess that would make a difference. You don't ever order from them. I have far exceeded $50. Way far exceeded $50. Thank you, Nancy. I'm so glad to hear it. Our printers have been very busy lately, which y'all know we've got 9 printers. We've got 3 new printers now. And they have been just going crazy. They have just been working nonstop ever since we got them. Okay, so here's what the finial looks like. So we're gonna dry this. We're gonna do a second coat. Christy, we're making a tiered tray. And you'll think it's still wet, so you do have to kind of touch it to tell if it's dry or not, because, you know, it's got such a high shine. Well, thank you, Teresa. That's very sweet. I appreciate your willingness to do that. And it surprisingly dries pretty quickly. So you can see how shiny, even after just the first coat. Okay. All right, y'all. It's looking really good. Isn't it pretty? Okay, so let's do a second coat. Make sure it's dry. Get a second coat on. I'll probably just do 2 coats for the sake of being live. 3 coats would look even better. Like I said, you want to go thick, but not too thick. You don't want it to run, because it will run. Thank you, Teresa. This sweater used to be on our website. It used to be one of the items in our boutique, which we don't have our clothing boutique anymore. But we did have it at one point. Now, if you work with epoxy, you could also do this with epoxy and dip your pieces in epoxy. And it would give you the same kind of look. All right. So I'm just smoothing it out, making sure everything is smooth and not too thick in areas. All right. We'll do our second coat on the base. Dana, is that by Deco Art, what you're talking about? I think it is. I feel like I've heard of that. Hi, Carolyn. How are you today? got Griffin's backpack washed the other day. So he's got a freshly clean backpack. All his supplies are ready to go. I put his name on things this morning. He's ready. He's out with Grandma right now, celebrating. They went to a movie and out to dinner, or not out to dinner, to the jump park. Teresa, his first day is tomorrow. I don't know if they do or not, Doreen, but we have it on our website, so you can order it from us. Dana, it really doesn't leave brush strokes. Okay, so I think that we are done. Let me show you. Okay, see how shiny that is? Thank you. Hey, Kelly. Thank you, Teresa. All right, so let's just get this dried. And we're going to put together our tier tray. All right. Take these off so I can feel if these are dry or not. It's hard to tell by looking at them. Okay, I think they're pretty good. All right. I'm going to pop the, I'm scared to like really touch it because it's thick sometimes. It's like if you touch it, it'll make imprints. Jennifer, the reason why they do that is so that they have a little bit of extra time to get acclimated, you know, where they've been off of this schedule for so long, having to only go back for 2 days instead of for a full 5 days just makes it a little easier to acclimate back into that schedule and into the swing of things. And it's not as exhausting for them to have to go from not having very much structure to right back into the structured day of having to behave and all the things and be on their best behavior. So it just makes it a little easier, I think, for the kids. All right, so I have 2 plates here, okay? So this is one of the plates I'm using. These are both ceramic plates, and this is the reason why we painted our finial and our spindle the way that we did. So you can kind of see that glaze in there on this plate. This one's from Goodwill, and then this one here is from Dollar Tree. So I've just got 2 different sizes here, a big one and a small one. And they're just, this plate is like a salad plate. And then this one here is a little bit smaller than that. And I'm just going to take some alcohol, just some rubbing alcohol to them, and just wipe them off to make sure that there's no grease or anything like that. Because that's going to help things to adhere a little bit better. All right, there we go. Okay, so we have our 2 plates. So our little spindle is going to just go right here on the middle of this plate. So I'm going to take some E6000. We'll use a combination of E6000 and super glue because the super glue is not going to hold enough. Sorry, y'all. in order to keep it from falling apart. The E6000 is going to do a much better job at grabbing on and holding to the ceramic. So I'm just going to flip this upside down, and I'm going to put some super glue on here so it gives it that instant adhesion. And then we'll take some E6000. Hopefully this isn't dried up because Griffin's been using it. Okay. All right, and we're just going to apply some E6000. To the bottom. I'm putting it just kind of all around. There we go. All right. So big side goes down, and we're just going to center this onto the plate. Okay, so you can see that our spindle looks like ceramic, just like the plate, which is the overall goal here. Okay, so then we're going to put this plate on top. Let me do a little bit of alcohol on the bottom here as well. It's going to help everything to adhere a little bit better. Okay, so again, we'll just put some super glue right on there, and then E6000. So I'm doing E6000 in the middle and E6000 on the outside. Okay, and then we're just going to center this. Let me get down here so I can see it. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. All right, so we just got that centered there. And now we're going to put our little finial on. I'm going to just alcohol again because I touched it. Okay. All right, so we'll just take our finial and do the same thing. It's hard to see what I'm doing, Debbie. I do have another light that I haven't brought back over here yet. Is anyone else having a hard time seeing? All right, so let me put some E6000. There we go. Okay, and put that on there and just center it. Press it down, and it is done. Okay. Maybe check the brightness on your phone. If you're watching on your phone, maybe the brightness on your phone is turned down. So here it is, our little tiered tray, our ceramic looking tiered tray. So we use 2 ceramic plates, and then our little spindle and finial are 3D printed, and we just painted them to look ceramic. So what do y'all think? Is that cute or what? Isn't that beautiful? So this would be really pretty for a tea party. Is the first thing that comes to my mind. How beautiful would that be? It would be really pretty for your jewelry. You could put your jewelry on here. It'd be cute in a bathroom. You can dress it up and put different pieces on here and do all kinds of fun different things for different holidays. You could use it in your craft space. Buttons and pom-poms or something like that would be really cute. Cookies, all kinds of different things. It's super, super duper cute. So there it is, y'all. So I'm just going to let it set up. I won't mess with it for about 24 hours so that E6000 can set and can cure. And it's all done. Super easy and so pretty. So pretty. All right, I'm glad y'all like it. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Thank you, Larissa. Absolutely, Nancy. So make sure you get on, check it out, thecelebrationcompany.com, and grab your 3D printed pieces. We have new plaques, spindles, finials, and some filigree, some decorative accents, and there is more coming as well. So there's so many fun things on there, so make sure you check it out. It's not just the things that I just mentioned. There are all kinds of things. We have frames, we have ornaments, we have trims, all kinds of different things. And they all work the same way. You can paint them with acrylic paint, and you can make them look like whatever you want them to look like. All right, y'all. Have a fabulous day. Love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.